I'm Mary Langland, and I am a vestry member at Servants of Christ in Gainesville, Florida. And I am going to be interviewing today Loren and Linda Fox that are visiting with our church right now. And I'm going to ask them some questions about their cross-cultural work that they do in Thailand.
I am craving hot, spicy food. You know, we went to a restaurant last night and I tried to order hot, spicy, and it was just medium, not mediocre, medium. I'm looking forward to the good, spicy food.
And I would say when I get back, I'm looking forward to seeing our community of friends, the people that we interact with.
Right.
I definitely, there are a lot of things as we've been traveling, I'm like, I really want to be able to share this with them. Looking forward to seeing them and seeing how they're doing. So.
Yeah, right. Good.
Okay, I think that particularly it struck me this year, Mary, when we got back to the States and we went to a restaurant and ordering the food, it was like I could understand everything that was being said to me. I knew how to explain something like I would like extra vegetables without trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I think there's just that real drop in the stress level because I can hear, I can understand, I can read everything. I don't have to worry about, trying to decipher what's going on. And for me, that is something that just feels really good because one of the things I also have going on with me is, of course, I look Thai, or and so therefore people tend to assume, oh, hentai, so they start speaking to me in Thai and then they'll just keep on going. And it's always like, I get that deer in the headlights look, and I don't have to do that here. It's like, I've had just the opposite. Oh wow, your English is really good. But, I do appreciate how much stress drops off, when I can interact with the language I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
For me, it is the weather and the scenery. Thailand is a beautiful place, but when we arrived this year, we went from Maryland up to Wisconsin, back through Nashville, down here to Florida. And the scenery is just different. The trees are different, the blue sky is different. Thailand's beautiful, but there's something about being home in that regard.
Yeah.
We had specific expectations. Linda was in member care, I'm in strategy, and I was focused on reaching specific peoples in one large country. Ministry is always relational, and so our relationships over the last few years have expanded. So our ministry has expanded through those relationships, and in that regard, we are connecting to different resources. Let me back up and say I'm connecting to different resources that allow me to train others. So I'm involved in training in a way that I was not anticipating when I left, and I'm loving it. And then secondly, working with the strategy and consulting, I'm able to put different people together, introduce different people. And then thirdly, a new area that none of us anticipated was security, starting with COVID and helping colleagues think about what are the security issues involved with COVID, but also in a couple of countries, there are changing politics. And so we've had to help our teams think about what are the security implications therein. And all of that is mapped by adapting to the changing times. COVID was a huge impact. But we have a war going on in our neighborhood called Myanmar. And so we're having to adapt to some of the differences there. So new relationships in multiple different directions, different countries, and it's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's important to back up a moment and say, although we live in Thailand, we serve in Asia. So we are involved with a number of countries. And when we first went out, the focus was specifically a very large country in East Asia, that was going to be our primary focus. And for me specifically, as Loren has mentioned, member care, the idea would be that I would be primarily focused on caring for spiritually and emotionally those of our global workers who are located inside this country, working to reach a particular group of minorities. And so I would be attending to their spiritual and emotional well-being and making sure that they were healthy and they could be effective on the field. And then political situations really changed. A lot of different things happened, and so that group of workers really shrank, the number who were able to remain on the field because of the dynamics of the situation. They were forced to leave. But God knew what was going to happen because he surprisingly opened up another field there in East Asia, and that field actually had like 3 times as many workers there. So I became their member care coordinator, and they are primarily who I work with now, as well as some of the other countries there in East Asia. I also went from being the junior member on the Asia Pacific member care team to the senior member. So I get to do a lot in terms of shaping how we do member care for all of the countries in the Asia Pacific region. And then the other thing that has developed is I have ended up not only training and helping build up our member care within team, but I am now also doing training specifically on what does it mean to do member care from a proactive standpoint, that helps to strengthen workers before they get into troubles on the field, rather than just responding after they get into trouble. And that has gone beyond team to other organizations, other parts of the world that I'm training people. We have an acronym, ROPES, we like to say ROPES stands for resources, opportunities, people, entry visas, and supernatural health, or some things. Although, sometimes it changes in terms of what the ROPES stands for. But our first need is always prayer. We need people to hold the ropes for us for praying for those specific items, that making sure that we have what it takes to be able to serve effectively and to engage and to be able to minister to others so that they become more effective in what they're doing, reaching other parts. I think the second thing is always, one of the things, resources, we do have a need for financial resources. That's just an ongoing reality. I think the other thing that I would want to highlight is encouraging us, both by staying in touch with us, but also considering coming out and paying us a visit there in Thailand to see what we're doing in Asia, so that you all know what God is doing in that part of the world, so you are engaged in it, so you can be a part of what God is doing and see the role you have in God's greater plan for Asia.
Well, Innovasia is a summer internship. It's also a 2-week intensive. So if the parish or the diocese wanted to send a team of, say, 8 or 10 people, we could put together a 2-week intensive learning experience, and I'd love to host you to do that. In terms of the big picture, though, I'd like to invite you to think of us as partners. And so we are focused where there is no church. And so we are always asking the question, what is church? What is church? And that is, by reflecting on that encourages you as our partners to likewise think about, why are you church? What makes Servants of Christ a church? What is the gospel? Press into that question. But in terms of partnership, this is not the end of the conversation. Stay in touch with us. Ask us questions. Share with us your answers to prayer. Contact us. Let's carry on this relationship, this partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Loren. Thank you, Linda. This has been so informative and enjoyable. May God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.